times the quantity k plus 2 a chance. However, if you're struggling with it, don't fret because it is different. So let's go ahead and do this together. The first thing that I notice is that I see that I've got this 8 times the quantity k plus 2. That is something that we've seen before, but not in an equation. So because I cannot add k and 2, I'm going to have to first do what you guys call bombing out the 8. So we get 64 equal to 8 times k, which is 8k, plus 8 times 2, which is 16. Now when I go ahead and make my plan of attack, like we did on the first example, if I were building this equation like we did in Learning Target 8 Day 2 on going ahead and building these equations to use the golden rule and practice it, I would first multiply by 8 and then I would add 16 to be able to go ahead and build the equation. So we're going to go ahead and do our U-turn, and our U-turn is going to result in doing the opposite, which is subtracting 6 and then dividing by 8. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I apologize, this should be 16 and 16 here. So let's go ahead and subtract 16 from both sides. And once again, if it helps you, put that dividing bar in. So then when I go ahead and subtract 16, that cancels this, leaving me with 8k. And then 64 minus 16, I'm going to borrow 10 from the 6, make it a 5. 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. And 5 minus 1 is 4. So now I have 48 equals 8k. So then according to my next steps, I'm going to take and divide by 8 on both sides. So I divide by 8 on the right, divide by 8 on the left. On the right, the 8's cancel, leaving me over with an answer of k. And 48 divided by 8 on the left gives me 6. Once again, if I check it out, if I put in 6 in for k in the very beginning equation, I get 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64. So we know we've done a good job. Let's go on to letter C. Letter C here says solving negative 28 plus 11 minus 22w equals 31. So the first thing I notice is that while I only have one variable term, I do have two constant terms of negative 28 and positive 11. If I combine those, negative 28 plus positive 11, the signs are different, so I'm going to find the difference or subtract. 28 minus 11 is 17. It is negative because the 28 is bigger and it is negative. So now I have negative 17 minus 22w equal to 31. Now if I go ahead and set my plan to build, first I would multiply by negative 22 because the sign that is in front of the 22 is negative. And then I would go ahead and it says minus 17, so I would subtract 17. So now when I go ahead and make my U-turn to plan my attack on how I'm going to undo this, I'm going to do the opposite of minus 17, which is plus 17. And the opposite of multiplying by negative 22 is dividing by negative 22. Cannot forget that negative. So when I go ahead and start working through this problem, I'm going to start by adding the 17 to both sides. And again, I'm going to remember to put in my dividing bar so I remember I'm doing to both sides. And when I do that, minus 17 plus 17 cancels, leaving me with negative 22w on the left. And 31 plus 17 is 48 on the right. So then let's go ahead and scroll up a little bit so we can see it a little better. Next, I'm going to divide on both sides by negative 22. And one thing you will notice once we cancel out the negative 22s to get w, I see right away, ooh, we got a problem here. 48 cannot easily be divided by negative 22. So rather than turning it into a decimal, which gets all messy, I'm going to go ahead and just make it a mixed number. So first off, I would say, well, these can both be divided by 2, which gives me, and I'm going to make a note off to the side, it's going to give me 24 over negative 11. So I know my answer is going to be negative. 11 goes into 24 twice, and that gives me 22, which means I'll have 2 11ths left over. So my answer that I get is W equal to negative 2 and 2 11ths. I'm going to let you go ahead and put that in for a check while we move on to letter D. Letter D says solve 7 times the quantity f minus 1 equal to 45. So I'm going to start off once again by bombing out that 7 to give me 7 times f, which is 7f, minus 7 times 1, which is 7, equal to 45. So then when I make my plan of attack to build this equation, I would first multiply by 7, and then I would subtract 7 to build the equation like we did a few days ago. So when I make my U-turn, I end up doing the opposite and adding 7 first and then dividing by 7. So now that I have that plan, I'm going to add 7 on both sides, put in my dividing bar to separate the two sides of the equation. So minus 7 plus 7 cancels, giving me 7f. And 45 plus 7 gives me 52. So now I have 7f equal to 52. Now I will go ahead and divide both sides by 7. Once again, I see that 52 cannot easily be divided by 7. So I say 7 goes into 52 7 times, which is 49. 50, 51, 52, that's 3 left over out of 7. So f is equal to positive 7 and 3/7. What I need you to do for Monday is to go ahead and try these 2 solve problems on your own. Bring them to class with you. If you have questions, please let me know. Also, don't forget to write your summary.